Well, thanks for coming on to the call tonight, everyone. And as you heard, there's a global shortage of ingredients for nutritional products which are known to support the immune system. And of course, the more valuable these are, the faster they go into a state of shortage. And with our sales of Immunostart and Manaboom literally 10 times higher than normal, our supply chain just couldn't even imagine this. We couldn't have imagined this. So what we have to do is concentrate on you being able to help people with their immune systems with our two products, Manapol and Ambrotose Life. And so what I'm going to do over the next few minutes is a few of these things I'm going to run through really fast, and a few of these things I'm going to take just a little bit of time explaining them to you. But before I do that, here's a reminder for all of you. When someone says to you, I'm concerned about what's going on in the world right now, do you have a product that can help my immune system? Well, the answer obviously is yes. We do have three great products, but two of them either are completely wiped out or they're going to be, in a day or so. And fortunately, we have just an excellent system of supply with our grower, and our grower is also our vendor for the Manapol and Ambrotose related products. So we're in good shape with that, folks. And so when the rest of the world is saying, boy, we just don't have anything to help you out anymore, well, they can come right here to Mannatech. So how does the immune system work? This is important. Everybody's thinking about, well, does this product or that product, does it increase your immune function, blah, blah, blah. All right, I want you to think about your immune system as though it's a factory. And of course, you would know that if you owned a factory and you're producing something, and let's say in this case, what you're producing is antibodies, you're going to need to put supplies into the factory. Let's say you're producing cars as an example. Well, then you're going to have to put steel and plastic and rubber and vinyl and all kinds of materials into the factory so the factory can actually produce a car for you. This is the way I want you to think about your immune system. We need to put the materials into our immune system factory that it requires to make the antibodies, to make our system, our immune, as strong as it possibly can be in these times. For those of you who think there's a vaccine coming up, well, soonest it's going to be is maybe 18 months. So that's certainly not today. And some have been hopeful, thinking, well, surely when the weather warms up, everything will be fine. Al pointed out to me today that in the Philippines, the whole country went on lockdown today, and it's quite hot in the Philippines. So if you're banking on warm weather to take care of all of your immune concerns, I wouldn't bank on it too much. The fact is, this is called a novel thing because it is novel. It is new. It is different. So let's talk now about the immune system. Do I have control of the slides, Al?
No, I do. I'm going to just change them for you.
Oh, okay. All right. So the first thing, just remind everybody about, Mannatech's concerns are always science. That's how we do everything, based on science. Safety. We have a multi-layered safety program. Everything we make is safe. Everything we make is safety checked. Everything. And efficacy. I had an associate a couple nights ago say to me, what does the word efficacy mean? It means effective. It means that it actually works. And we make sure of that by scientific study. Next slide, Al. Thank you. Now, you've heard me say this a million times before. We're the science company, but guess what? All of the trainings I've done since we created Ambrotose back in 1996, I've gone through our studies and talked about the brain health and memory health and digestive health and, of course, immune support. But the fact is, the overwhelming majority of people who buy our products are really concerned with immune support. Overwhelming majority. And the reality is, Mannatech has always been the immunity company. And today, more than ever before, we are the immunity company. Now, keep in mind, folks, our competitors can make any kind of claims they like, and they do, but we're the only company in the entire industry that can say we pioneered a new scientific field. That's the field of nutritional glycobiology. We are the science company, folks, and of course, we are the immunity company. Next slide, please, Al. All right, now I use the word glycans because that's the scientific term. If you talk to a scientist and you say glyconutrient, which is a commercial term that Mannatech invented, then they're going to say there's no such thing as a glyconutrient. So we've been saying that since 1996. I guess we'll keep saying it as a company, but I want you to know the scientific term is glycans. That's what a scientist recognizes. Next slide, please, Al. I want you to also know, for those who say, oh, there's no science about that stuff. Oh my God. If you guys could take the time to watch a presentation that I do, which is the science and history of glycans, you will be astounded, totally astounded. Starting with the first study back in 1857. Okay, not much of a study. They didn't have really great equipment back then. But as of 2010, they were up to almost 23,000 scientific papers on PubMed alone. And there are lots of science libraries, not just PubMed. There's lots of science libraries. Next slide, please. Now, I want you to know that in March of 2019, I did a search on PubMed, came up with 362,000 hits on glycoproteins. And this morning, I did the same search, 838,000. So the number keeps increasing because scientists are beginning to understand that glycans are the single most important discoveries in human nutrition, more important than vitamins, minerals, amino acids, name all those things, because of what glycans do for the human body, how they are core, absolutely core to immune function, digestive function, brain function, memory function, nervous system function. I can go on. It's just, this is something that everyone needs to have every day, whether they understand it or not. Next, please. I also want you to know that everybody's heard of the Human Genome Project, but most of you haven't heard of the Human Glycome Project. Yes, there is one. Scientists in Japan began this in 2011. It's ongoing. They are trying to figure out all of the glycans that are attached to those little receptor sites that you see me show you on these presentations. They are studying what each one does and why. And I suspect it's going to be a number of years before they're done with that one. Next slide, please. Now, just to show you how fundamental glycans or glyconutrients are to the human body, what you're looking at is the three primary blood groups, O, A, and B. Take a look at these three. You'll see that the three of them have two things that are precisely in common. What's different on each of the blood groups? What's different are the glycans attached. So these glycans have functions. Again, the Glycome Project is studying this, trying to figure this out. But glycans in our body have functions that we're only beginning to just touch on, only beginning to understand. It's probably the most exciting field of study in science today. Next slide, please. And it's really exciting because Mannatech is the glycan company. Let's face it, nobody knows more about glycans than Mannatech and Mannatech scientists. That's fact. In 2012, the National Academy of Sciences did an exhaustive paper trying to figure out what glycans do. They were astounded. I read through the paper, which, by the way, folks, is not an easy read. Trust me. And I read through this paper, and I was astounded. I mean, I thought I knew a lot about glycans, but these scientists, they found even more use. But most important was all the functions of the body involve glycans, all, not some. So not just the immune system, but all functions of the body. Very cool. Next slide, please.
Okay.
You've seen this picture many, many times since 1996. Now you're seeing it again. Well, what you're looking at on the cell surface, you're seeing what are called cell surface receptor sites that are coming up out of the cell from the inside of the cell. And then you see there are little, in this case, they're colored green. So they're little green beads. Those little green beads on the end of the receptors, those are the glycoproteins. So a glycoprotein is a glycan and a protein amino acid bonded together. That then is able to read and speak certain letters of the cellular alphabet. When all those little beads are on top of all of their receptor sites, then your immune system and the rest of your body can now speak to other cells in complete and intelligent sentences so that you can do those things like repair cells, destroy invading cells, protect yourself, regulate hormone function, and so on. All those things to be done. I have a video I recently completed, which is posted already for you to look at, where I use the cell phone analogy that, okay, cell communication works like a cell phone. That video is, I think, about 6 minutes long. So if you're having difficulty explaining this to someone, just show them the video and then talk to them about it, okay? There are more than 20 videos that just today I've been talking with people that are posted for you to take a look at. And just on the calls that I've had today, people were completely unaware that those videos existed. So they exist. Please use them. I'm going to keep making more, lots and lots more, but please use them. Al, next, please.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm moving fast, but we've got a lot to squeeze in this. So this is a reminder for you. Scientific study. So other companies are using secondhand information, borrowed science, but we've actually studied our own products. And we have, the majority of our studies are human, double-blind, placebo control. In fact, 13 of the 17, and we have an 18th one that's going to be posted soon, which is also human, double-blind, placebo control. So when we say efficacy, it's because we know it, because we have studied our products in human beings with the highest level of science, the double-blind placebo-controlled test. So yes, cellular communication, which is key, folks, absolutely key to immune function. Your immune system, I'll give you this in a really compact way, really easy way. Rather than me naming all the scientific names for all the cells, let's do it like this. Okay, you've heard of lymphocytes, and there are T cells and B cells and etc. Okay, let's call those scout cells. And they need to go out into the immune system. They need to be able to recognize as they're traveling through your bloodstream if something has entered your body that doesn't belong there. Doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't belong there, and it's a threat to your health. So these little things have to be able to communicate. That means they have to have at least 8 glycans mounted on each of their cell surface receptor sites. They need to be able to send a signal to your immune system headquarters, that's the thymus gland, and it needs to have the same glycans so it can send out communication to all of your soldier cells, or call them killer cells if you want, but the soldier cells, so that they can go out and they know what kinds of cells to destroy. They know what those cells look like. They know how to identify, thanks to those scout cells, which have done the scouting and the identification for them. This is all about communication, folks. If your system can't communicate effectively, your immune system cannot work effectively no matter what other products you take, which is why I keep saying to people, yes, I'd like you to take a start and Manaboom, but you know what? If you don't take your Ambrotose, the other products are not going to do the job for you. You've got to have those. Scientific study shows that the modern diet, that's what most of us eat, is providing 2 of the 8 necessary glycans in quantities that are adequate for us, but the other 6 are very hit and miss. So all of these other things, cognitive function, memory function, immune function, digestive function, all of it is fundamentally dependent on cellular communication. Next slide, please. So Manapol is the beginning. That's how it all started. Many of you on the call were with the company in the beginning, so you remember Manalow was that first product. The material inside of the Manalow capsules was trademarked as Manapol. I call it the king of glycans because it is the single most important glycan that I have seen in my career and in my research. So next slide, please, Al. So even in Manapol and Mannose from aloe, as developed by Mannatech, is true Acemannan. I want you to remember that phrase. Lots of companies now are using the term Acemannan, and when we analyze those companies in the lab, we find out that they are not Acemannan. So they are aloe, they are Mannose from aloe, but they're not anything close to us. We recently, and I won't name a company because I get in trouble for that, so I won't do that. But there's a company that's been advertising, spending huge money, advertising in the USA Today newspaper, full-page ads. They call themselves Acemannan. Folks, they're not. They were third-party analyzed, not by our lab, but third-party analyzed, and they're nowhere close to Acemannan. So, I mean, don't even bother with that product. What do you find in mannose from aloe? Well, you also find, besides mannose, you'll find galacturonic acid, glucuronic acid, galactose, arabinose, fucose, and fructose, as well as rhamnose and xylose. The glucosamine, so you have 11 things listed here. This is what you'll find in Ambrotose, all 3 of the Ambrotose products. So I know many of you think there are 8 things because of the old 8 sugar bit that Dr. McAnally used to teach all the time, but there are actually 11 things, and one of them is a glucosamine. So it's part of the glycan family, but it's a glucosamine. That's number 7 on the list. Next slide, please. So our aloe, as you know, is grown exclusively in Costa Rica. The majority of the aloe that's sold on planet Earth is grown in China. Now, if you've ever been to China, and I have many times, there are cities in China where the air pollution is so awful that you literally can't see more than a few feet ahead of you, and everybody's wearing a mask, whether there's an immune challenge that's current in the country or not. I'm talking all year round. And I've been there where the air is so, it's like a grayish orange everywhere you look. It's just awful, and you have to have a face mask on. Now, aloe absorbs pollution. It's one of its benefits. If you put a live aloe plant in your home, it will be to absorb pollution from the inside of your home. And according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, there's 10 times more toxin in the air inside of your home than there is outside of your home. So it's nice to have an aloe plant in your home to absorb this stuff. But what you don't want to do is buy an aloe product where the aloe was grown in an area where the air is so polluted, as in China. So our product, grown exclusively in Costa Rica, in volcanic soil, by the way, starts with DNA analysis. Now, I want you to think about this. We actually do a DNA analysis of the little seedlings in the nursery, and they have to meet a certain DNA standard, or we don't replant those plants out in the aloe fields. The ones that don't make the grade, they get used as fertilizer. So no, we don't have any competitor that does that. We select the aloe plants even before we put them in the field to grow, to make sure that we've got the best, the strongest aloe plants that you can get anywhere. That is unprecedented. Next slide, please, Al. So we have been third-party tested, and we know that our Manapol has the highest polysaccharide content of any of our competitors. And folks, the more polysaccharides, the better. You want more. Okay, that's where the real benefit comes from, the polysaccharides. And we have been third-party tested for clinical safety and efficacy, unlike our competing companies that make all kinds of outrageous claims. Next slide, please. Our Manapol also contains not only the stabilized aloe, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the newer and exciting news about it in a moment, but it also contains Aloe Pectin. Now, if you were to look up pectin, if you were to Google it, you'd find lots of studies about pectin and the immune system. You'd find studies about pectin and detoxification. In fact, it says in virtually all the studies that you read on pectin and detoxification that the heavier the pectin molecule is, the more effective it is to help detoxify your body. Now think about it. The mannose itself is doing tremendous things for your immune system, just tremendous. And it can't be compared to any other Acemannan or any other thing that claims to be Acemannan in the world. And then on top of it, we've got the heaviest Aloe Pectin, which means the most effective detoxification support that you can get, plus the immune support that comes from Aloe Pectin. Next slide, please, Al. We also know from scientific study that Manapol can increase your absorption of vitamin C. It can increase your absorption of vitamin E. It helps you with your total gastrointestinal balance and health, and particularly in the area of probiotics, as well as immune response, which is key right now globally, immune response, and also cellular metabolism. Next slide, please. All right, the definition, the scientific definition of Acemannan, what is it? It is mannose from aloe that is between 1 million and 2 million Daltons molecular weight. Okay, when we first made the very first Acemannan, that was way back years ago, our Manalow product, so trade named Manapol, and that's what we call it today, but it was in the old Manalow capsules. It was 1.1 million Daltons. And all of the scientists at the time were dead certain that there was no possibility that any aloe could ever get so good that it would actually exceed 2 million Daltons. But ours has now exceeded 2 million Daltons on every crop yield that we've done recently. Al, we're looking at your desktop, but we're not looking at the slides right now.
Yes, I just noticed that, and let me see if I can change that.
It's a very pretty desktop, by the way.
Yeah.
Very colorful.
That's not what you want to see. Hold on a second.
My desktop is black. Can you imagine that? Okay, well, I'm going to continue while Al's trying to get us back to the slides. So we are coming out consistently at 2.23 million Daltons consistently on every single yield that we're putting out. That is not only unprecedented, it's beyond anything any scientist ever imagined, that any mannose from aloe could be that powerful, that strong. The heavier the molecules, the more effective it is. And we are clearly the heaviest. There's just no question about that. Is there any way you can bring the slides back, Al, or are you still working on that?
Yeah, I'm still working on it, but give me 1 second. And
okay, I'll just keep going.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there we are. Okay. Okay, next slide, please. All right, super. Next one. All right, so if you look at mannose from aloe, the standard grade mannose from aloe is somewhere between 380,000 Daltons and 400,000 Daltons molecular weight. A Dalton is a weight, it's a measurement of atomic weight, and it comes from the inventor of the theory. His name was Dalton. He was an Englishman back in the 1700s. So what's interesting is there's aloe being sold from China that is so crappy that the molecular weight is only 200,000 Daltons. And that's being sold to people as Acemannan. That's what they're calling it. And it's not anywhere close. So if you raise good aloe, and you're getting 380,000 Daltons compared to our aloe at 2.23 million Daltons, it's real obvious which one is better, and we're not just a little bit better, folks. We are light years better than the competition because of our science, because of our growing methods. Next slide, please, Al. So you're looking at 5.75 times the molecular weight of any aloe in the world. And most of the aloes being sold by our competitors are so crappy, they're down in the 200,000 range. They're that bad. So this is really important. True Acemannan, if you want real Acemannan, true Acemannan, you have to come to Mannatech. Now remember, I've said this for more than 20 years for you folks. Structure is the key to function. And true Acemannan, our product, has a different structure than ordinary mannose from aloe. And not all of you are going to understand the chemical formulas, but I want to show it to you so you see that there's actually a difference. So here you have Acemannan, that's our product. You see the first molecular formula there. And then you see standard aloe, that's everybody else's product. You can clearly see the structure is different. We are better. We are superior. We are superior by light years versus our other companies. All right, now a lot of people say, well, it's so expensive. Well, yeah, it is. But, you know, thanks to Al and Stan, the board, they've made the decision to really make this more available and more affordable during this really stressful time in human history where everybody needs more immune support. Al will probably tell you, probably reiterate the bargain that they're going to do on Manapol pretty soon to help you with that. Folks, it takes 660 kilograms of aloe leaf to make 1 kilo. And for the Americans, a kilo is approximately 2.2 pounds. So to make 1 kilo of Manapol, now that's why it's so expensive, because you need a literal mountain of aloe leaves to make one little bag of Manapol powder. It's pretty astounding. Next slide, please. Now, I'm asked all the time about the 3 formulas, and people are confused. And okay, all 3 formulas have the same 11 glycan base formula, all 3 of them. So it's no difference in that. In Ambrotose Life, you've got 205 milligrams of Manapol. In Complex, you have 200 milligrams of Manapol. In Advanced, you have only 95 milligrams of Manapol. And Manapol is the single most important immunomodulatory ingredient I've seen in my entire career. I wish I could tell you folks about the studies that we're not allowed to publish anymore. It's in my head because I was there when we did it. And I'm telling you folks, the single most important thing for your immune system is Manapol. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. The more Manapol you have, the better off your immune system is. That's as simple as I can make it for you. And that's why when people say, you know, should I use Life, Complex, or Advanced? I always say use Life or Complex in most cases, because I want you to have more Manapol. That's what counts. AmbroGuard is also our personal exclusive form of premium Arabinogalactan. It's called AmbroGuard because that's our trademark. We can trademark it because it's exclusively ours. AmbroGuard has been, this premium form of Arabinogalactan has been tested in a human double-blind placebo control test and shown to improve immune responses when used with the flu vaccine. And the improvement was really significant, very significant. So AmbroGuard all by itself could be a product all by itself. I mean, you could start a company and just sell that and nothing else, and you'd do pretty darn well with the results. So Ambrotose is more than 50% made of Manapol and AmbroGuard, more than 50% of Life and Complex. Now, it's a different number for advanced, of course. For in life, you have the fucoidins from wakame. In complex, you have the original fucose. And in advanced, you have the fucoidins from wakame. It's stabilized rice bran for life, and it's rice starch as a base for complex and advanced. Plant source glucosamine for life and advanced. And listen to this good news, folks, because I haven't been chief of science very long, but I made a decision on this. We are changing the shellfish source of glucosamine and ambrotose complex to the vegetarian source that you currently have in life and in advanced. And that means our next order, which will probably arrive, our next shipment will probably arrive in May. So going forward from there, ambrotose complex will then be vegan and vegetarian friendly. And I have the staff working on the kosher certifications. It may take until September to get the kosher certifications, but we will have that as well on ambrotose complex. That's great, great news for everybody. So you've got the modified citrus pectin, the sodium alginate, are also in Ambrotose Life. I'll talk about those in a few moments. Next slide, please, Al. So Ambrotose Life has more than double the Manapol of advanced ambrotose, which is why we are hoping we can get everybody who takes advanced right now to switch over to life. Everybody. Because I want you to have double the Manapol every day, especially with these immune challenges going on. Folks, this is not going to go away, okay? The current immune challenge that's in the news right now, some of the experts are saying it may last through September in North America, and in other parts of the world perhaps longer. But whether it does or not, you know what? Every year there is a season. Every year. Never fails. It's always coming. So you want to make sure that you have your Manapol. Next slide, please. And because more than 50% of both life and complex are made of Manapol and AmbroGuard, and those are exclusive to Mannatech, that means patent or no patent, the products cannot be duplicated. Next slide, please. This talks about AmbroGuard. I've kind of done that already, so let's just move on. And I've done this already, so we can move forward. So, and I've really done this as well. We'll move forward to glucosamine. All right, stabilized rice bran. So SRB replaces the rice starch that we've always used in complex and in advanced. There are advantages to this, and I'll show you some of these advantages right now. Next slide, please. Okay, so you're looking at rice, and the outside of rice has a husk to protect it in, and most people who eat rice never knew that. We eat that white polished part in the middle, okay? The white polished part has very little nutrition, but in between the husk and the white polished part, you see a thin brown line. That thin brown line is where all the nutrition is. That's the bran. So you're talking about vitamin E, the full complex of vitamin E, by the way, not just one of the tocopherols, the whole complex. B vitamins, plant sterols, which are not the same plant sterols that you find in Plus. So yes, you should still take your Plus. Different plant sterols, okay? There are lots of plant sterols that do different things in the human body. Essential fatty acids, protein, trace minerals, and also glyconutrients of various types are found there. Next slide, please. We also have modified citrus pectin, or MCP. You're going to find a lot of MCP products on the market. Why? Because modified citrus pectin does have immune system support properties, and it helps to attract and detoxify chemicals from your body. Now, folks, I don't care where you live. I've had this discussion with so many people. You know, I live in Wyoming. There's no pollution here. No, sorry, that's not the case. I live in New Zealand. There's no pollution here. No, sorry, not the case. You are going to find toxins. Remember the book I wrote, How to Survive on a Toxic Planet. You are going to find toxins at the North Pole and the South Pole and everywhere in between. And the majority of chemical toxins are things that the human sensory system cannot detect. Why? Because they're so synthetic, because they're so far removed from something natural that your systems can't smell it or taste it. Your systems don't know what it is. You're not designed to detect that kind of stuff. You're set up to detect things like tigers creeping up on you and what food is spoiled when you go to sit down to eat. That's what your sensory system basically does. So the MCP, once again, we're using MCP, which is the most clinically tested MCP of any MCP sold anywhere in the world. We want you to have that advantage of being able to remove chemical toxins from your body as best as your immune system can do. Also sodium alginate, and I will explain both of those. Next slide, please. So modified citrus pectin, and by the way, I also have another video which is done, and it's in the Mannatech library, that talks about Ambrotose Life and some of these advantages. And now it's already a little bit out of date because we were 1.6 million Daltons when I made the video. That was, I think, 2 years ago or 1 year ago, April. And now we're at 2.23 million Daltons. So things have changed, but it's still a pretty good video. So if you were to take that orange that you're looking at and peel it, and you look on the inside of the skin of the orange, you're going to see strands of fiber. If you open up those strands of fiber, you're going to find long-chain polysaccharides, which are called citrus pectin. Now, it's called modified citrus pectin because you can't digest orange rinds. So then what we want to do is we want to be able to take those pectins out of the fiber of the peel, so that's the modification, and put it into a form where we can add it to a supplement and you can digest it. Now, because they are an excellent source of something called glucuronic acid, and glucuronic acid attracts chemicals, this is what helps to detoxify your system. Next slide, please. The sodium alginate, when I first talked about this, people freak out and they think, oh my gosh, it's table salt. No, no. There are all manner of salts. And table salt is one kind of salt, and that's bad for you, and that's not what this is, okay? This sodium alginate is a salt made of alginic acid. Alginic acid is an anionic polysaccharide. Now, okay, now you say, what the heck does that mean? All right. Anionic simply means negatively charged. Polysaccharide, you already know what it is. So you're looking at that picture on the left side of the screen, and what you see is brown algae. We extract the alginic acid from the cell wall of the brown algae, which is a polysaccharide, and of course, brown algae is a plant. And why is this good? Because it's a polysaccharide and it's negatively charged. What does that mean? All right, think about this. Lead is positively charged. Aluminum is positively charged. Cadmium is positively charged. Mercury is positively charged. Are you guys getting this? So you take something that has a negative charge, you match it up to something that has a positive charge, and just like the opposite poles of a magnet, they attract each other so they can help to come out of your system. So that this even helps with metals, toxic metals in your system. And don't think that you haven't been exposed, folks, because you've been exposed. Every human medical test that's been done so far, 100% of the blood draws that have been done on people at random show that they have chemicals and metals in their blood. It's because we live on planet Earth in the 21st century. That's just the way it is. Okay? So this is a very safe, very natural way to help you with that. Okay, go ahead, Al. So I want to reiterate again. Scientific study, folks. We're not making claims based on secondhand information. We're not making claims based on what somebody else says about an ingredient. We actually do scientific study on our own products to validate what works in human beings. I think that's pretty darn impressive. When you look at 17 studies that we have posted right now, and soon 18, that's 17 more than almost every company in our entire industry. I want you to think about that. The next slide, please. All right, so we have Ambrotose Life in two forms, as you know. The powdered container is the economical form, but the Ambrotose Life sachets, this was an answer to what people kept saying for years. It's too inconvenient to take Ambrotose powder because I can't carry the container with me around all day. What do I mix it in? I don't like the taste. All these things that come up, okay? So in response, we made Ambrotose Life sachets. We use the same flavoring technology that we use in True Pure. And when we interviewed people with True Pure, our associates, almost 100% of our associates said they love the taste of True Pure. Now, I understand that different genetic groups have different responses to tastes. So as an example, Koreans, Japanese will have slightly different taste likes and dislikes from each other as they will have from, let's say, a European. We understand that. But we've done the best we can to make this product taste as good as possible for as many people as possible. Now, here's a convenient way for you to get your Manapol, your AmbroGuard, and the rest of Ambrotose in a sachet that you can take with you wherever you go. It's super convenient. I think it tastes great. You don't have to worry about what to mix it in. Just pour it in water, and there you go. And here's another benefit. We recommend 2 grams twice daily of the powder. Each of those sachets has 4 grams in it already. Now, there's a total of 10 grams of material because you've got your flavoring agents and all that in there as well, which, by the way, are all natural. It's all natural citrus flavor, but it takes up about 6 grams to do that. So you've got 4 grams of Ambrotose Life in each of those convenient sachets. That is really cool. Next slide, please. So I want to reiterate some of the important claims and important benefits of Ambrotose Life versus other products by other companies. Cellular communication, first and foremost. And that's for everything, folks, everything, not just immune support. It is the only product studied that has been shown to impact what scientists call N-glycosylation of human serum glycoproteins. What does that mean in plain language? It means this stuff does get absorbed, it does go to your cells, it does function on your cells. That's what it means. It's been proven in scientific study. We know that what we're doing is safe for year-round use. So when people say, well, I only want it during this time of crisis right now to support my immune system. No, you want it every day of your life. Ambrotose Life for every day of your life, okay? You can enhance the body's response to vaccinations. We know this by scientific study. You may improve your cognitive function and mood. And we have the best scientifically studied citrus pectin on the market. We're not seeing everything on that slide, but that's okay. Let's go to the next one, please. So we have 10 glycans plus 1 aminoglycan, which is glucosamine. So there are 11 functional items in Ambrotose, not 8, but 11, okay? It's exclusive. Manapol is exclusive to us and no one else. And it is true Acemannan. And go ahead and piggyback on all these other companies who are advertising that they're Acemannan. Actually, the claims that they make about their products are not true about their products, but they are true about our products, which I find really amusing. So we've got some companies doing great advertisement for us. I think that's great in terms of public awareness. So our AmbroGuard is the premium form of Arabinogalactan. It is exclusive to us. Our Aloe Pectin in Manapol is the heaviest Aloe Pectin on the market anywhere in the world today. Remember, the heavier the molecular weight of the pectin, the more effective it is. And we are in a base of stabilized rice bran, which has those benefits we talked about already, along with the MCP that I've discussed, and of course the anionic polysaccharide known as sodium alginate from brown algae to help attract metals. All those super benefits. I think that's the last slide, Al.
All right, well, the last slide I threw here was just to let you know, I mean, we have these promotions that are already going on. The 2-pack for $164.99 and the 4-pack for $229.99, which is a 35% saving, folks. So I'm gonna tell you that this is a great way for you to get enough of these, get it in people's hands as fast as you can. This is going to be that's an amazing promotion. It's already there. You can take advantage of it. And then the other promotion I did talk about was on the Manapol, where it's normally about $229. We're going to be doing it for about $178, which is about 25% savings on that can of Acemannan.